Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So in this video, we are going to build a movie watchlist application with the help of React, Redux-Toolkit, RTK-Query and Redux-Persist. So React basically is used for building the UI component. Redux-Toolkit we are going to use for managing the application state. RTK-Query we are going to use for making the API request, and we are going to use Redux-Persist in order to persist the data in our application while refreshing the application. So our data will persist even if you refresh the application after doing changes. So let's see what we are going to build in today's video. So we are going to have a quick demo. So first I am going to add a movie into our watch list. So I can search any movie. So here let's search movie with the dawn. So from here we can add our movie into watch list. So once you add, the button will get disabled. Now you can see this movie into watch list. So this movie is added into our watch list, and if you click on this eye icon, so it's going to basically add into watched. So it's going to remove from our watch list and it's going to add into watched. Okay, so you can see that this movie now is added into watched. Now if you click again on this icon, so it's going to basically remove from watched and it's going to add into our watch list. Okay, so you can verify this one in watch list. So it's going to come back again in our watch list, and you can also remove the movie by clicking on this icon. So it's going to get removed from our watch list. So you can remove couple of movie as well, and you can also remove movie from our watch page. Okay, so we have the same functionality. So if you click on this one, it's going to remove. Now if you add a movie, okay, so let's search a movie with Avenger. So if you directly click on this add to watch, so this button will also get disabled, because at a time only one movie can be there. So either it will be in watch list or watched. So in that case this button will be disabled in order to avoid the duplication in our app, because a movie can be either in watch list or watched. Okay, both movie cannot be placed inside watch list and watched. Okay, and whatever the changes you are doing, okay, so suppose if I remove this couple of movie and if you refresh the application, so our entire data is going to persist after refreshing the application. Okay, so you don't need to add again. So we are using here Redux-Persist to achieve the persistence in our application. So this is the overall application that we are going to build in this video, and we are using here material UI. Okay, so we are going to use material UI to build all this component. Okay, and we are going to use external API to fetch the movie. So we are going to use the movie DB API, from which we are getting our all the movies. So we are going to use this external API in order to fetch movie in our application. I am going to use font awesome as well in our application. So all this thing I am going to use in my current movie watchlist application. Before we start working on this application, if you haven't subscribed this channel, then please do subscribe this channel and like the video as well if you find out that video is helpful to you. So without wasting any time, let's start working on this application. So I am going into my VS Code. As you can see that I have already created a project which is open in my Visual Studio Code. So I have created this project with this command. So let me go into the browser. So I have created this project with this template command. So you can create the project with this command and you can give the project name whatever you want. So I have created the project with this command. So once you create a project using this command, so you will get some by default dependency. So let me open the package.json file. So you can see that using this command which I have used to create our React project, so I have already got this React Redux and Redux Toolkit. Okay, so once you create a project with this command, you will get this two dependency by default. Now, next thing, we wanted to install additional dependency that is required for this project. So let me open a terminal and let me move up a little bit. So in this project, we are using a material UI. So I'm just going to copy this one first. And we also need to install one more package related to material UI. So we also need icon. So at some stage, we are going to use icon as well. So let's install that package as well. We also gonna need here React router DOM for routing in our application. Then we need a React movement for formatting the date. Then we need here, I think, Redux-Persist also, because we are going to persist our data in this application. So Redux-Persist also required. So I think that much dependency is required in our project. So let's install this dependency first and wait for the package installation. And meanwhile, this project is already running. So let's go into the browser. So you can see that this project is already running, and we got some by default code with the help of this command. So we got some boilerplate code over here. You can see that under the source folder. Okay. Now, next thing, we are also going to use some font here. So robo font we are going to use. So let me search here font. So we are going to use a robo font CDN. So let me just copy this one and I'm going to paste inside this index.html file. And in this project, I'm also going to use some icon. So for that purpose, I'm going to use font awesome icon. So I'm just going to copy this link tag and let me paste over here. Now let's save this one. So there is no issue after adding those CDN in our index.html file. Let's close this one. Now next thing, I'm going to do some cleanup in this project. So we don't need this counter folder under the features. So let me delete this one. And we also don't need here index.css file. I'm just going to delete this one. We don't need logo. So let's delete this one. Now let's go to this app.js file. So we have already deleted this counter folder. So let's remove this one along with logo. And let's remove everything with the header. Let's keep here heading for now. Movie watch list. Okay. Let's go to this index.js file. So here we don't have this one. And let's go to this app folder. So let's remove this one because we have deleted the feature folder. And for now, this will be the empty. Let's save this one. And let's go into the browser in order to see whether everything is working fine or not. Now everything is working fine. You can see that we have done some cleanup in our project. Now it's time to do some create folder structure in our project. So I'm going to have one folder called components. After that, I'm going to have some folder inside feature. So we are going to have add movie. Okay. Then we are going to have a folder called like watchlist movies. Then we are going to have a folder called watch movies. Okay, we are also going to have one more folder under the source, that is services, in which we are going to write a endpoint in our RTK query. So services folder also required. And for now, let's just create here like movie API. Okay, .js. Inside features, let's create some files here. So index.js. Okay, and we are going to have one slice over here, so that will be movie slice. And inside this we are going to have, let me just rename to small, and this will be also small. And let me just generate some snippet, okay, here. So this will be like add movie, and let's just give heading add movie. Now here I am going to have one file again, that is index.js. I'm going to generate a snippet. So this will be like watched movies. Let's just give for now heading, and this will be a watch list movie. So let's create one more file. Let's generate a snippet. So watch list movies, and here let's just give heading, the same heading, that is watch list movie. So we got one file inside each folder. Okay, now I'm going to configure a routing in this application. So let's go to this app.js file, and from React router DOM, let's bring a couple of things. So we need a browser router, then we need a routes, then route. So let's remove this one, actually we don't need. And we are going to have routes inside this browser router, which contain a different route, and we are going to define each route under this route component. So let's define a path, and let's give element, and let's bring our add movie. So let's bring this add movie. So I'm just going to give here add movie. I'm just going to copy this one couple of times. So this will be not add movie, the home route will be like watch list movie. Okay, so let's bring that watch list movies page. So VS Code automatically import this one for me. Then we are going to have watched movie page, and after that we are going to have add movie. Now let's give a different route here for this component, these two component. So this will be a watched, and this will be add. Let's save this one. Actually let's move this import here, okay, below this import statement. Let's go into the browser. So this is working fine, I guess. Let's go to add. Let's go to this watch list, not watch list, watch. So routing is working fine in our application. You can see that. After that, I just wanted to paste some basic styling in our app.css file. So let me do that one first. So for now, I'm just going to paste this styling, some basic styling. Now let's go into the browser. Now you can see that we got some changes in our application. So you can see that font got changed. Okay, that means this is working, which we have bring this robo font from material UI, the CDN. Okay, so let's close this one. So basic routing setup is completed in our application. Now next thing, I wanted to start first working on our header component. So I'm just going to create one file here, header.js. Okay, so first I'm going to generate a snippet over here, and I'm just going to paste some import statement which is required to build the header component in our app. So we have bring link from React Rotterdam, and the rest of the component we are bringing from material UI. So we need app bar, box, toolbar, and button and typography. So let's use all this component in our header. So here I'm going to use fragment. So let me get rid of this, and here I'm going to use first box, and let's use material UI styling. So flex grow, let's give 1. Then I'm going to use app bar, and I need to give the position static. Inside app bar we are going to have a toolbar, and I'm going to use here typography, and inside I'm going to pass some style. Okay, so I'm going to give font weight here, that is 700, and margin left I'm going to give 40 pixel, and inside this typography I'm going to give a kind of heading, a big heading like movie watch list. Okay, and I'm going to wrap this movie watch list with the link. So once you click on this link, so you will basically navigate to home page, that is our watch list page. Okay, and here we have to provide the path, which is nothing but home page, and let's give here style. So I'm just going to give a font size, so it will be 32 pixel. Let's format this one. After this typography, I'm going to have one link here. We are going to have another like kind of link in header, that is watch list, and here I'm going to use a button, and color is going to inherit, and here I need to give some styling, inline style. I'm just going to copy this one because it will be almost similar, so I'm just going to paste it over here. So for this I'm going to give font width 600 and margin left is not required, I guess. So here it will be font size and that will be 20 pixel and the value on button will be watch list. Okay, let's save this one. Now we are going to have a couple of more link in our header. So let's just copy this one, paste it over here. So this will be watch. Let's give the path here and something is wrong. So let's give here arrow and this will be watched. Okay, let's just copy this one and let's paste it over here. So we are going to have our final link, that is add. So this will be add. So we have defined all the link that is required in our header. Now we need to add some styling related to header. I'm just going to this app.css file and I'm just going to paste some styling related to header. So this basic styling we need to add in our app.css file. Okay. Now let's go to this app.js file and we have to bring our header component. So let's bring the header component from this path. And let's save this file and let's go into the browser. Now you can see that we got our header in our application, but this link should be available here on the right hand side. So let's see whether this is working or not. So this is working, you can see that. So but this link should be on the right hand side, so let's work on that one. So in our header component we need to add this one, flex pro. Let's save this file and let's go into the browser. So this is working, you can see that. So this is all working. So let me verify this one as well. So this is also working. So we are done with the header component in this application. You can see that the header component is all working fine in our application. Now next thing, I wanted to start working on our add movie page. Okay, so from here we can add movie to watch list or watched. Okay, so let's first start working on this page, then we can work on the other page, that is watch list page and watched page. So first I'm going to add a search input field on this add movie page. So let me go to this feature folder and we are going to have this index.js file. And first I'm going to paste some import statement which is required to create a search input field. So we need this mini component from our material UI. Okay. We also need use state. Okay, from React, and let's define one initial state. So we are going to have like query and set query. Okay, let's work first under this return statement. So let's remove this one heading first, and I'm just going to give some inline style here. And I'm just going to paste those styling here. Okay, so this styling we need for our main div. After that I'm going to use paper from material UI, and let's give a component props, and this will be a form, and then we have to give assets and I'm just going to provide some styling here again. So this styling we have to give. After that, I'm going to use input base for our search input field, and here I'm going to provide again sx, and let's give ml1 and flex1. Let's give here placeholder. You can give here any placeholder name like search your movie, okay? And we can give here value, which we have already defined the state for that one. So I'm just going to pass here query, and I'm going to have an onChange method, and let's give here handle search. After this input, we also need to show one search icon. So for that, first I need to use icon button, and type will be a button. Let's give sx here. We are giving some padding. Area label we have to give search, and inside this icon button I can use this search icon, okay? So let's save this one, and let's go into the browser. And before we go into the browser, we need to define this method, okay? So const handle search, let's leave it empty for now. So let's go to the browser. So now you can see that we got our nice search input field on add movie page. So once user start typing into this input field, we are just going to show some result, okay? So currently we are not able to type anything inside this search input field. So let's first work on that part. So in handle search, it's going to receive event, and let's give a set query, then e.target dot value. Let's save this one, and let's go into the browser. Refresh this one. Let's type, okay? So now we are able to type in our search input field. So it is working. We are able to type in our search input field. So this part is done as of now. So far we have write some basic code in our application, like we have completed this header part, and we have also included this search input field in our application. So it's time to focus on RTK-Query, where we are going to make a API request. So once you type anything in this search input field, we are going to show a movie search result. So before we focus on RTK-Query, we need to configure TMDB API, okay? So first I'm going to create an environment file inside our root folder. So inside this I'm going to store my API key, okay? So let's first configure TMDB API key in this application. So we need to go to the official website of TMDB API key. So let's go to the official website of TMDB in order to configure API key. So you have to go to this official TMDB website and create your account. It's just a normal sign up procedure. So once you sign up to this website, you will see this page. Then you have to go to the setting by clicking on your profile icon. Then you have to click on this API in sidebar. And since I have already created my API key with this account, so you won't see this for now. Hence in your case it will be different if you're creating for first time. So you will see something like this, as you can see in my screen. So here you have to just provide some basic detail in form, and there will be submit button. Just click on that, and then you will see your API key. So this is just basic thing you have to do in order to generate your API key on TMDB. Now I will go back to my VS Code and I will paste my API key in environment file. Now I have generated my API key on TMDB. So I'm just going to paste over here in my environment file. So this is my API key which I have just generated on TMDB official website, and I have also included the API which we are going to use in this project. Okay, so these two things I have included in my environment file. So let's save this one. So whenever you create a environment file in your project, so you need to restart React development server. So I'm just going to do that one first. Let me kill the server and I'm going to restart this one again. Let's wait for the application load into the browser. So application got successfully loaded in our browser. You can see that. Now it's time to focus on RTK-Query. So with the help of RTK-Query, we are going to make a API request. So I have already created a file under the service folder. So let's start working on our RTK-Query. So here we need to bring a create API and fetch-based query from Redux-Toolkit, and we need to go to this path query React. Okay, so we need create API and fetch-based query. Now let's create a API. So export const movie API. So here first we need to give a reducer path so that we can hook up in our store. So let's give here movie API only. Then base query we have to provide, and inside that we have to use fetch base query, in which we are going to specify base URL. So we have already a API here in our environment file, so we are going to use that one. So let's just copy this one, and here I'm going to use process.env, and let's just paste it here. So this is our base URL in order to search movie. After that we are going to have our endpoint. So in this project we are just going to have only one endpoint. So let's define that endpoint. After that we are going to write a builder pattern. So builder, then we are going to have this method get movie, and this will be a builder dot mutation, because we need to accept a query from our component. So that's why I'm using here builder dot mutation. Otherwise I can use here builder dot query. Okay, so we have also one option here builder dot query, but here we need a query from our component. So with mutation we can get it. Okay, so here we are going to have query, and here we are going to have one function, and this query we are going to receive from our component. After that we can return, and here we can specify the URL. So here we have to specify the endpoint which we are going to use from TMDB website. So let me first go to the official website of TMDB. So this endpoint we are going to use. So let's click on this, try it out. So we are going to use this API. Okay, so let me just copy this one first, and I'm going to just paste it over here. So we have already base API, so we can remove this one. So you can see that I have already mentioned the base URL, so we can remove that part, and here we have to specify the API key. So process.dnv, and let me just copy this one. And here we have to add one more thing. So query, and this query we are going to receive from component. Okay. After this, I'm going to specify the method. So this will be a get method. Now this get movie is going to expose a custom hook. So we can get it like this way: export const movies API, and it's going to export like this way. So it's going to expose a custom hook like this format: use get movies mutation. So whatever the method name you are going to give over here, it's going to generate a custom hook according to that. Okay. Now we have to hook up this service in our store. Okay. So let's go to this store.js file, and here first we have to bring this movie API. Now inside our reducer we have to hook up. So movie API dot reducer path, movie API dot reducer. Now we have to also specify a middleware here. So middleware, and just we are going to use default middleware. So get default middleware, get default middleware concat, and we can use this movie API dot middleware. So we have also hooked up our movie API into the store. Now let's go into the index.js file. So here you can see that we have already brought this provider and store. So we don't need additional configuration as of now. So let's save this one and let's go into the browser whether our application is working or not. And you can also open this Redux tab tool. So you can install this extension in your Chrome browser. So you can see that we are getting something in our Redux tab tool. So we got this movie API. So that means we have successfully configured RTK-Query in this application. So we have write our endpoint in order to fetch the movie whenever user types something into our search input field. So RTK-Query part is completed over here. Now next thing we have to work again on our add movie page. In add movie page, first we need to bring this huge effect. Okay. Now we need to bring this custom hook that is got generated by creating this method in our RTK query. So we also need to bring that one as well. So here use get movies mutation. So VS Code automatically import that one. Now we need this method that is get movies, which is defined here. So this method I am using here. So and once we basically use this method, then we are going to get a data. So this mutation basically going to expose some properties like data. So you can see that here by doing control space. So it's going to generate like is error, is loading, is success. So we need for now only data. Okay. Now after this, let me use a use effect here. So this use effect is only going to run whenever user types something in our search input field. Okay. Now, if we have any query, so I'm talking about this query, which we have defined with use state. Then we are going to have one method here, fetch movie, because we have to fetch the movie asynchronously. So we cannot use async await inside use effect. So let's have a function here on fetch movie. This will be async and await, and we can use this one. Okay, get movies. Now we can console log as well this data, whether we are getting any movies or not. So let's see in the browser whether we are able to see any movies or not in our console after making the API request with RTK-Query. Let's go to this ad and I'm going to open our console. Now I'm going to type Dawn here. So we have some issue. Okay, let me see what is the problem. So actually I forget to pass query from our add movie page. So we need to pass the query, not here, here. Okay. So we have to pass this query, then only we are going to get our movie. So let's go into the browser and try again. Refresh this one. Let's see, we are done. Now you can see that we are getting our movie. So we got our movie under the result property. Okay. So here we got 20 movies. So in result we have a movie title, okay, ID. So first let me display the title of each movie that we are typing over here. So here what we can do, after paper we are going to have one div with the class name result, and we got our movie under the result property. So data dot results, I'm just going to first check length is greater than 1, then only show the movie result. Okay, and then let me just copy this one, and we are going to use here map movie, and for now I'm just going to use here list item. So movie dot title. Okay, so let's go into the browser, refresh this one. So now you can see that we are able to list all the movie with the Dawn. Now you can also assign a new key. Okay, so we can give here movies, because at the end we are fetching the movies after typing into the search input field. So you can give here movies, okay, not an issue, and then you can use this one here. So that way it will look more meaningful. So let's go into the browser and try again. So data is not defined because we have used here console log. So just let's get rid of this console log. Now let's go into the browser, refresh, let's type Dawn. So it is working. Okay. Now next thing, I wanted to start working on this movie search result component. So in which we are going to display image along with movie name, in which year movie got released and button like add to watch list or add to watch. Okay, so let's work on this movie search result component. Now I'm going to create one file inside this component folder in order to display movie search result. So the file will be like movie search result .js, and let me first generate a snippet over here, and I'm just going to paste some import statement or material UI. So we are going to use this many component from material UI, and we also need here movement. So let's bring that one as well. Now inside return, let's remove this div, and this basically going to receive a movie, okay, from our add movie page. So here we are going to use card from material UI. We need to provide some props like assets, and let's give display flex and height. I'm going to give here 170 and M1, and inside this card I'm going to have card media in order to display a movie image. So here we have to pass a component. So we are showing image, so it will be image. Then we have to give here some more props like assets, and we are giving here width. Okay, let's give width 151 image. So we are also going to display a movie image, so we need to specify this path. So first we need to write a URL for displaying the movie image. So image dot tmdb dot org hyphen t slash t p and w 200, and then here we can show the movie image. So movie dot poster path. So our image content under this property poster path. After this I'm going to have a box, and inside that inside this I'm going to have again some props. So display will be flex, then flex direction we have to give column. Inside this box we are going to have a card content, and I'm just going to copy this one first. So we need to remove this style, and here we have to give flex, and inside this 10 auto. Now inside card content we are going to have typography and component. This will be a div. Let's give a variant h5, and here we are going to display movie title. So title may be long, I'm just going to use here substring. So first 25 character I'm going to display of the movie title. After this typography I'm going to use a stack, not a stack. First I'm going to use here movement, because I'm going to also display, because I'm also going to display the year of movie, in which year basically it got released. So format, let's give here, format will be YYY. So I'm just going to display the year, and it will be with closing. Okay, we have to provide the closing tag of movement, then movie dot release date, and this should be inside typography only. Let's cut this one, and we have to use one more typography, and inside this I'm just going to give here color. So color will be like text dot secondary, and component will be div. Now after typography I'm going to have a stack for displaying a button. Let's give a spacing here 2. Direction will be row, and let's give sx empty 6. We are going to have a button. This will be a variant of content, and let's give for now add to watch list. So first we are going to work on the functionality of adding the movie into our watch list. So for now we are going to have only one button. Now after this let's use this component inside this add movie page. So currently we are just displaying the title in a list item. So now we are going to use that component that we have just created, movie search result, and here we are passing the movie, and here I'm just going to add some styling for result class name in app.css file. So this basic CSS code I have just added to the class name result. Okay, so let's save this file, and let's go into the browser and verify this one whether it's working or not. So first refresh this one. Let's search with the dawn. So we got our movie search result with the dawn keyword, and we got a very nice button, add to watch list. We got movie title and year in which year movie got released, and we got a warning like each child in a list should have a unique key. So let's provide that one as well. So let's go into the VS Code and provide a key. So here we can use index. So let's avoid using index here. So I'm just going to use a movie ID. So let's give here key, and we can use here a movie ID because it should be unique. Okay, so let's format this one, save this file. Let's go into the browser, search again movie. So now we are not seeing that warning related to key in our application. So this part is completed over here, where we have basically displaying the movie search result whenever a user type into the search input field with a nice card component in which we are showing title, year, and add to watch list. button. So this part is over for now. Next thing, we wanted to work on the functionality on adding the movie into our watch list. So for that, we have to first configure our movie slice. Okay, so we have to work on our reducer part in this application with Redux-Toolkit. So we have to configure slice in our application. So let's work on that one. So I have already created a file inside add movie. So here we have already got our movie slice file. So slice nothing but is a reducer where we define the initial state for our store, along with we define action and reducer in the same file. So let's work on our movie slice in this application. Now I'm going to import a create slice from Redux Toolkit. So let me just bring a create slice. Now I'm going to create a movie slice. So const movie slice create slice. We need to give a we need to provide a slice name, so it will be movie. So you can give here movies, and you can also rename to movies. Okay, let's define a initial state. So we are going to have like watch movies and watch list movie. Okay, so initially it will be empty, and then we are going to define our action inside reducer. So we are going to have action like add movie to watch list. This gonna having a state and action, and we are just going to basically push. Okay, the state dot watch list movies dot push action dot payload. So here you might be assuming that I am mutating the state directly. Immer.js basically work under the hood. So we are actually not mutating the state here directly, but this Immer.js only work inside this slice. Okay, so in anywhere application, if you want to mutate a state, so you have to do a proper way. Okay, but here you can basically mutate the state this way because Immer.js basically work behind the scene. So we are not actually mutating the state directly. So after that, what I'm going to do, so export const. So this create slice basically going to generate a action creator with the same name. So add, so here movie slice dot action, and it will be add movie to watch list. Now we have to also export this slice. Okay, so export default movies slice dot reducer. Now we have to hook up this newly created reducer in our store as well. So let's go to this store.js file, and here I'm going to bring movie reducer from this feature folder. Let's go to add movie and movie slice. So let me rename this one. Okay, so this is a movie slice. Now I'm going to give here key movies. Okay, and I can just assign movies reducer. So we have successfully hooked up our newly reducer in our store.js file. Now we wanted to basically add a movie to watch list. So whenever you search a movie here, and if you click on add to watch list, it's going to add into watch list. And in this watch list page we can able to see those movie which you have add from here. So first let's dispatch an action, okay, so that movie can be added into our watch list. So let's go to this component movie search result. So first we need to bring use dispatch, and after that we have to basically store the reference of use dispatch into a dispatch variable. So let's first do that one, and I'm going to dispatch an action here. So on click, and we can dispatch an action, that is add movie to watch list. So VS Code automatically suggesting me this action has already created in movie slice, so it's going to import automatically, and we can pass here movie. So let's save this file and let's go into the browser and verify this one whether it's working or not. So I'm just going to refresh this one first. Let's click on done. Let's click on add to watch list. Let's verify in our Redux DevTool. So here you can see that we have dispatched one action here, that is add movie to watch list. And you can see that in watch list movies we have just added new movie that we have to watch in future. So this movie is added. You can see that in our Redux DevTool. So whatever the movie we are going to add from this movie search result, we have to display in this watch list page. So next thing we are going to do that one. So now let's work on our watchlist movie page. So we have already created a file over here. So first I'm going to paste some import statement from material UI. So this component we are going to use first, and we need useSelector as well from React Redux in order to grab the state from store. So let's bring here useSelector. So first we are going to get our all watchlist movie. So watchlist movies, we can use here useSelector and state dot movies dot. So we have to go to this way, okay, up to this path. So let me first see whether we are able to grab this movie or not. I'm just going to put a console log, and so let me first verify this one. Let's go into the browser. Let me add, and let's go to the watchlist page. So here we got two movie, okay. So this is working, okay. Now before we move forward, so I am going to create a selector for getting all the watchlist movie, because in future if state ever got changed, so we don't need to change manually in each component, so we can just change in our slice. So I'm just going to create a selector in our movie slice. So here I'm going to have one anonymous function, that is select all watchlist movies, okay. It's going to have a state and state dot watchlist movies. So you can use this one. So let's go into this watchlist page, and here we can remove this one, and we can just put this select all watchlist movies. So VS Code automatically import that one. And here we have to do one more thing, state.movies, because our reducer basically registered with the key movies. Okay, so we have to target like that way. So let's see whether it's working or not. So I'm just going to first refresh this application, entire application. Then I'm going to add one movie. So let's search with the X-Man. Let's add couple of movie. Let's go to watch list. Okay, so we are successfully able to add the movie in our watch list movie. So we are going to display the movie in a card. So whenever user add from add movie page, so we are going to display a image along with the some button, okay, which we are going to discuss later. First I am going to display a movie in a card. Okay, so first let's go into the VS Code, and here what we have to do first. So I'm going to remove this one, and I'm going to have a container fixed, and then I'm going to use a typography. So variant will be H4. Then I'm going to give some inline style, font weight 600, SX, not SX, empty 4, and we can give here like my watch list. Then I'm just going to check watch list movie. So watch list movie dot length greater than 0. Then we are going to display the movie. So we are going to use here not this operator, a ternary operator. So we are going to use here ternary operator, and here for now we can just show like add movie. So this should be in fragment, and here let's just use fragment for now. And here we are going to have our one more component, that is movie grid. So here I will have movie grid component. So let's create one component here, movie grid. I'm going to generate a snippet over here, and I need here grid from material UI. So let's import grid like this way, grid. And here I need to create one more component for card. Okay, movie card. Movie card dot js. Let's generate a snippet. So here I'm just going to paste some import statement from material UI. So I'm going to have div with the class name movie card. We need some external CSS styling as well for this component. So card, first I'm going to have card, and here I'm going to provide assets. Display will be flex, and M. Then we are going to have a card media, and this movie card is going to accept first movie. Okay, then we are going to have this component. I'm just going to copy from this movie search result. Let's just copy this entire thing, and here width will be the 220, and here let's provide the alternate as well. So movie dot title, and I think we have forgot to provide alternate in this component as well, so let's provide here as well. Let's save this file. Now let's work on this card component, movie card. After this we are going to have our movie control. So for now I'm just going to give a comment, we will work later. So movie control basically contain icon from which we can push movie to the watch, or we can remove movie from our watch list. So we will work on that part later. So this component is ready. Now we can use this component in movie grid. So let's focus on movie grid. So this movie grid basically is going to receive movies from our watch list page. So we have already bring grid. Now let's remove this one. Use grid here. SX and flex grow 1 container spacing, it will be 2 empty 3. We have a grid here again. So item fx 12 inside grid. Again we are going to have a grid. This will be container. We have to pass a prop container. Justify content. So it will be center. Then spacing we have to give 2. Now inside this grid I am going to map the movie which we are receiving from our watchlist page. So movie.map movie. I'm going to use here div. Let's give here key movie.id. So it will be movie because we are mapping single movie. Then again I'm going to use grid item, and inside that I'm going to use movie card component which we have just created. Now we can pass here movie. Let's save this one. Let's go to our watchlist movie page, and here what we can do, so we can remove this one, and here we can give like movie grid. Okay, so we have to bring movie grid from this path. So VS Code automatically import that one. We can pass here movies. So we have to pass this watchlist movies. and here we can give message like please add movie. Later we are going to have a component for this message as well. So for now just give a message like please add movie. Let's save this file and verify this one in browser. So you can see that it's already working. So let's refresh this one. So first we got this message because we don't have any movie in our watch list. So let's add. I'm going to search with Avenger. So we have already added couple of movie. So let's go into the watch list. So this is working. Okay, you can see that we are able to display movie in a card with the image. Now this part is completed as of now. So next thing we are going to basically display icon on each movie card. Okay, so icons are basically responsible for pushing the movie into watch, or you can also remove a movie from this watch list. So for that I'm going to create one file here, that is movie control.js. Let's generate a snippet. So I'm going to paste some import statement from material UI. Now this movie control basically going to receive some props like type, so type movie and display. Now first I'm going to have my custom button here. So let me just paste that one. So I'm going to use this button. Okay, this is my custom button which I'm going to use. Now here I'm going to have a class name that is not displayed, and then after that we are going to check first for watch list. So first we are going to work on our watch list page. So first we will focus on watch list part. Okay, so if the type match with the watch list, then we are going to use here stack with the direction row. Now inside stack I am going to have my control button, in which I am going to use a font awesome icon with the class name FAFW, then FAR FAI. Okay, now we are going to have one more control button. So let's just copy this one. So this is for basically pushing movie into watch, and this will be for removing movie from our watch list. So we are going to have two icons. So this will be the almost same. Here we have to just give times. Okay, now next thing what we have to do, so we are using this control I guess in movie card. Okay, so here basically we are using those things. So let's remove this one, and we are going to have movie control. So here we are going to provide a type which basically we are going to receive from our one more level component. So movie card basically we are using in movie grid. Okay, so this movie grid again we are using in this watch list movie page. So from here basically we have to provide type. So type will be watchlist. Okay, so let's go to this movie grid. So here we got type. Now this type I'm going to provide to this movie card. Then in movie card we are going to have this type. So type we are providing here. So we have to provide like this way. And in movie control this will be capital L. So in movie card we got movie control. So movie control we have to also pass movie, okay, individual movie and display. Now I'm going to paste the styling for this class name and this class name, okay, not displayed. So let's go to this app.css file. So I have pasted the styling, and for now let's keep the opacity 1. Okay, so let's go into the browser first. So we got this icon. So this is not looking good. Okay, so let me check the correct icon for this second one. So it will be just FA. Okay, so now we got proper 2 icons. So if you click on this one, so this movie basically going to push into the watched, and if you click on this cross, then it's going to basically remove from watch list. So before we perform those actions, so first we have to display this icon when we hover on this card. So first we have to work on this part. Okay, so let's work on showing the icon when user hover on this movie card item. So this is a little bit tricky because we are going to achieve inside material UI only. We are not going to use here CSS hover property. So first we need to go to this movie card, okay, and here what we need to do, so we need to bring a use state first, and here I need to define one state, that is display set display. By default it's going to have a value like not displayed. Then I am going to have one div, okay, so this div is going to get close here, okay, and here we are going to use some HTML event, that is on mouse enter. So for that we are going to have one method like show icon, okay, then we are going to have another HTML event, that is on mouse leave. So for that we are going to have hide icon. So let's define this one. So const show icon, so first is going to receive an event, so e.prevent default, then we can set here display set display, and we can give the value here like displayed, okay. Then we are going to have hide icon. So I'm just going to copy this one, and this one will be a hide icon, and this will be a not display. Now this display property we have to pass, okay, because you might be noticed this movie control component basically receiving a display property, but we haven't used so far. So we are going to use that display property here. We can basically use here curly bracket first and wrap inside template literal, and here we can use display. Now next thing, let's go to this app.css file. So here opacity will be 0. Now movie card dot display, so in that case opacity will be 1. So in that case opacity will be 1. So let's save this file and verify this one in browser. So let's go into the browser. Now you can see that on hover we are successfully able to display the icon. So once you hover only, it's going to display these icon. So this part is also over. So the next thing, we are going to write an action to push this movie into watch whenever user click on this eye icon. So let's work on the action part where we are going to push movie into the watch from watchlist section whenever user click on this eye icon. So we need to basically write an action first in order to push the movie into a watch section from our watch list. So here we are going to have an action here like add movie to watch, okay. So here first what we have to do, so whenever you are going to move to the movie from watch list to watch, so first we have to remove that movie from watch list, okay. Then we have to add into watch movie page. So first we are going to basically remove the movie from our watch list once the movie move into the watched. So I'm going to write a logic here. So state dot watchlist movies and state dot watchlist movies, and here I'm just going to apply a filter, and we are going to basically check like movie, so movie dot id. So we are going to basically check with the movie id. So if it doesn't match, then we are going to basically get all those movie which doesn't match with the id. So it's just going to do a filter, so action dot payload. So while dispatching this action, we are going to basically dispatch a whole movie object. So action dot payload dot id. Let's format this one. After this, we are going to basically add our movie into watched. So state dot watched movie dot push, and here it will be action dot payload, okay. So we write the action, let export it over here. So add movie to watch, okay. So add movie to watch. Now this section basically is going to dispatch from this part. So let me go to our component, and in the movie control we have a button. So here we have to basically dispatch that action. So first we need to import use dispatch from React Redux. So from React reader, we need to bring use dispatch. And first I'm going to store the reference of use dispatch into a dispatch variable. Okay, now from here we can basically move that particular movie into watched. So we can use here on click method and we can dispatch. So add movie to watch. So this is the action that we have just created, and from here we can pass the movie which we are basically receiving over here. You can see that. So let's pass this movie, and after this what we can do, so we can verify this one in browser first. So let's go into the browser and let's add one movie, couple of movie I'm going to add. So X-Man, so I'm going to add couple of movie. Okay, now let's go into the watch list. We got this many movies. Now if you click on this eye icon, so basically it's going to move into watched. Okay, so let's click on this one. Now you can see that that movies got basically removed from this watch list section, and it's basically moved into the watched section. So you can verify this one in the Redux tab tool whether we have any movie or not in the watched movie. So you can see that we got one movie into a watched movie. So let's add one more. So you can add this one again. So you can see that now we got two movie in watched. Now you can see that we got two movie in a watched movie array. So that means this is working. Now next thing we wanted to basically work on this removing part. So user can also remove a movie from watch list by clicking on this cross icon. So let's work on that one as well. So we need to go back to VS Code and we have to go to this slice, movie slice, and here we have to basically write a logic, remove movie from watch list. Okay, watch list state dot action, and the logic will be the same here. Okay, because this is the same thing is doing. So but only one minor thing we have to change. So this time we are just going to send the id, not entire movie object. So we can just remove this one and it will be like action.payload only, because we are just going to send the id from our component while dispatching this action. So let's save this one and let's export this action. So remove movie from watch list. Now we can use this action in movie control. So here on click and will be dispatch, and we can dispatch that action remove movie from watch list, which we have just created now, and we are going to send just id only. So hope you are getting this one. Now let's go into the browser and let's add again movie. So let's add with Avenger. So we got couple of movie. Now let's go to watch list. Now let's click on this cross icon. So you can see that this is working. We are successfully able to remove movie from watch list as well. and this is also working. So let me check once again. Yes, this is working. So we got one movie in our watched movie array. So before we work on this watched page, I wanted to basically work on this page as well. So whenever you search a movie, like I am searching with the Dawn, and once you add this movie to watch list, so I am going to disable this button after adding this movie into watch list. So let's first work on this functionality, then we will work on this watch page. So let's do that one. So we need to go back to our VS Code, and we have to go to this movie search result. Okay, and here we need this watch list movie. Okay, use selector. So we have to bring it from React Redux, and we have to bring the selector as well. So select all watchlist movies. So we got our all movies. Okay, and after this what we have to do, so here we need to find which movie we are basically adding into the watch list. So let stored movies, and here we have this watch list movies, and we are going to use find method item. So item dot id, if it's matched with the movie id, so we are getting all the movies from here. You can see that from add movie, so you can see that we got here all the movies, and here we are just matching the movie id. So with this we will get those movies which we have added into our store. So we are going to disable those button. Okay, so now we have to disable the button. So const watchlist disabled, and here it will be like stored movies. So if you have the stored movies, then just disabled. Okay, so we are setting here true, else it will be the false. Now we can use this watchlist disabled here, disabled, and here we can basically pass that variable. So let's save this file, and let's go into the browser, refresh this one. So let's suppose I have add this movie into watch list. So now this button is disabled. Okay, so let's go to this watch list. So this movie is added. Now let's search again with the same keyword Dawn. Now you can see that the button is disabled for this movie because we have already added this movie into our watch list. So this part is also completed. Now let's focus on our watched page. So this watch page basically is going to similar to the watch list page. Okay, so we are going to use the same approach which we have used over here on the watch list page. So we are going to use the same component. Okay, and the same logic which we have used for this watch list page. So let's go into the VS Code and work on this watched page. Okay, and for that I'm going to add two movie into watched. So I'm going to add two movies. Now we have two movie in our watched. So let's work on this watched page. So here, so it will be similar almost. Okay, now so what I'm going to do, so I'm just going to copy, okay, this thing, okay, entire thing, and I'm going to paste it over here. Obviously we need to bring some import, so I'm going to just copy all thing. Okay, and here we have to bring select all watched movie. So we haven't selected the selector for watched movie, so let's do that one in our slice. So in movie slice we are going to create a selector for all watched movie. So I'm just going to copy, and this will be watched movies, and this will be watched movies. Okay, now let's go to that file. So select all watched movies, we can pass it over here, and this will be watched movies. Remove this one, this console log. We can use this variable here, and type we have to give here watched. Okay, and we got some issue. No, that's not an issue. So format this one, and we have to go to this movie grid as well, not movie grid. Let me check. So here it's fine. So let's go to the control, because we have this watch list here. So we are going to have the little bit different icon on watched page. So let me just copy this one and paste it over here. So here it will be watched, not watch list, and the icon will be the different. So it will be slash. Okay, and the action will also going to change. So let me just save this one for now, and let's go into the browser. Again we have to add some movies. So let's add with the Avenger. So let's go to the watch list, add couple of movies. Let's go to watch. So here we got two movies. Okay, so the icon slightly different. So let me check what is the icon. So I think it will be a slash I. Okay, let me try with this one. No, it will be I slash. So I slash. So let's save this one. Let's go into the browser. So you can see that we got this I slash. So if you click on this icon, so basically it's going to move back to the watch list. Okay, it's not going to remove, it's just going to remove from this watched page, but it's going to add again into the watch list page. So let me first change the title because it's getting confused. So this will be watched movie. Okay, where is the title? Okay, so we have to go to different file. So this will be watched. Okay, so once you click on this icon, so it's basically going to remove from watch array, and it's going to add into the watch list array, which we are going to see into this watch list page. So once you click on this icon, so it's basically going to add into watch list, and it will be getting removed from this watched page. So I hope there is no confusion over here. So let me go to the VS Code, and let's work on some of the action in our movie slice. So movie slice. So once you click on that slash I icon, so for that we are going to have an action like move to watch list. It's going to having a state and action, and we are just going to copy this. Okay, so the logic will be almost same. So here instead we have to basically filter the watched array. Okay, so state dot watched movies, and here we have to push back into the watch list. Okay, so watch list movies. Now let's write one more action for removing the movie from watched array. So remove movie from watched, and this time we are going to basically write only this logic. The logic will be just similar. So this will be watched, okay, and this will be watched, and this will be also watched. So make sure to change this one. Now let export these two newly created action. So move to watch list and remove from watched. So let's save this file and let's go into this movie control. So here basically we are going to dispatch an action, move to watch list, and here we are going to dispatch an action, remove movie from watched. So VS Code automatically import these two action for me. You can see that above. Okay, so let's save this one and let's go into the browser and try this one. Now we have to add movie again. So let's search with the X-Man. I'm going to add couple of movies. Let's go to movie watch list. Let's add to this into. Let's add to watched. Let's go to watched. So here I'm going to basically click on this slash icon. So it's basically going back into our watch list. So let's see this is working or not. So you can see that this is working. So we are getting back into our watch list. And if you click again this eye icon, it's going to add into our watched array. So this is working. And if you click this cross icon, it's going to permanently remove from this watched array. So it's not going to add over here. So this functionality is working as expected in our application. So we have achieved almost all the functionality in this application. So now I'm going to add one more functionality in this application. So from this movie search result, user can also add movie into watched. So I'm going to add one more button over here. So let's do that one as well. And we have to go to this movie search result. And I'm going to copy this one, this entire button. And let's just comment this one, because we are also going to disable the watched button as well. So it will be add to watched, and here it will be add movie to watched. And first let's check the button is added or not. So we got one more button here, add to watched. Okay, so this is working. So disabled part is working for this. So we have to also implement the same functionality for add to watch. Okay, so let's do that one as well. So we need to basically bring our watched movie as well. So watched movies, and here we have to use select all watched movies, and here we have to also write the same logic. Okay, so it will be stored movie watched. Okay, and this will be a watched movies. So after this we also need to modify this existing logic as well, because if you directly basically add the movie into watch, so we have to disable this one because it will create a duplicacy. So we have to also check the watched array as well. So let's do that one. So in else part we are going to check again if you have any movie into our watched array. So we are going to make it true, else false. Okay, now we have to also disable our that add to watch button. So watched disabled, and this will be stored movies watched true, and this will be false. So I'm going to uncomment this line of code, and here it will be watched movies. Okay, sorry, watched disabled. So everything looks fine. So let's try into browser. So I'm going to refresh this one first. Okay, so let's select with Avenger. So if you click on add to watch, so this button will also get disabled because we don't want to duplicate this movie. Okay, so either it can be in watch list or watched. Both movie cannot be in watch list and watched. So it can be either in watched section or into watch list section. So that's why this button is getting disabled. So if you click add to watch list, so only this button will get disabled. But the moment you click on add to watch, so this also get disabled, so that you won't add this movie into watch list, because I have already told you same movie cannot be placed into both places. Okay, that is watch list and watched. So this part is also completed over here. Now next thing, if you refresh this application and if you go to watch list, so we are seeing this message. Okay, so it's looking little bit odd. So I'm going to create a component for the custom message as well. So let's work on that part. So we need to go back to our VS Code, and I'm going to create one component, that is message.js, and let's generate a snippet. So I'm going to paste custom div, okay, here, and I'm going to receive a title. So I'm going to receive a title as a message, and I also need to import a style from material UI. Now we can use this div under the return. Okay, so let's use this component in our both pages, that is watch list and watched. Okay, so here what we can do, we can give your message. So we have to bring this message component from this path. We can provide a title as a props, and we can give a value. So this message I'm going to add, and let's use the message component here as well in watched movie page. So we have to bring the component from this path. So I'm going to add this message, okay, when we don't have any movie in our watched page. So let's go into the browser. Now you can see that it's looking very nice. Let's go to watched. Okay, so this is looking good. Now last functionality left in our application, that is persisting the data. Okay, so whenever you refresh this application, this all gone. Okay, So again we have to add the movie. Okay, all these things we have to do. So I have already installed the Redux-Persist. So we are going to use Redux-Persist in order to persist the data in our application. So let's see how we can persist our data in this application. So we need to go back to VS Code and we have to work only in the store file and index.js file. So first I'm going to start working on this store file. So here first we need to bring a storage from Redux-Persist. Okay. Now we need to bring persist reducer from Redux-Persist, and persist reducer we need to bring, and I also need here combined reducer from Redux-Toolkit. Okay. After this I need to create one object. So persist config, and we are going to have key with the root. Then we are going to have a version 1. Then we are going to have storage. Okay. After that we are going to have our reducer, combined reducer, movies, and we can use here movies reducer. So we can just copy actually entire thing. Okay, so I'm just going to cut this one and I'm going to paste it over here. Okay, now we are going to have a variable const persisted reducer persist reducer, and here we have to pass our persist configuration object along with reducer. Now we can pass this one. Okay, this persist reducer here, persisted reducer. So let's save this one. We have to pass this one. Okay, so let's save this one, and we have to modify our index.js file as well. So here what we need to do, so here I'm just going to paste two import statements from Redux-Persist. So we need persist get from this path and persist store from this path. Okay, so I'm going to define a variable here, persister. Okay, persist store, and we can pass here store. Now we have to wrap our app with the persist get. Let's put app inside persist get, and here we are going to pass persister. Okay, so this variable I'm going to pass. So let's save this file and let's go into the browser, and I'm going to also open the console here. So we are seeing some error in our console. So it's saying serializable value was detected in an action. So what we can do to fix this issue? So let's go to our store, and here we can add serializable check. Okay, and this will be false. Now let's save this file and let's go into the browser, remove this one. So you can see that we are not seeing that warning in our console. Now let's add movie again. So some of the image is broken, that why we are getting this error. Okay, you can go down, so you can go down and verify. So some of the images are broken from their end, so that's why we are getting this kind of warning, so in which we cannot do anything. So let's focus on adding the movie into watch list. So let's add this one. Let's add some movie into watch as well directly. So it is fine. So let's refresh this application. So this is working fine. Okay, you can see that here also it's working fine. So after refreshing the application, our data is getting persist. Okay, so let's remove. So let's refresh. So after performing the action, also our data is getting persist. So I think all functionality is working fine in our application after introducing Redux-Persist in our application. So I think that's it. We have implemented all the functionality in this application. So we have added the functionality to add movie in watch list. We can add movie into watched. We can remove the movie from watch list. We can also remove the movie from watched, and we can disable the button, okay, from here. So if you click on this add to watch, so this button will get disabled. So both button will get disabled because at a time only one movie can be placed either into watch list or watched. So all functionality working fine.